Appendiceal Pinworms. Introduction. Enterovirus vermicularis is a widespread parasitic infection, and its association with acute appendicitis varies from 0.2 to 41.8% worldwide. Appendiceal pinworms can cause symptoms of acute appendicitis irrespective of microscopic evidence of acute inflammation. Pinworm is a widespread parasite estimated to affect up to 209 million people worldwide. Both in temperate and tropical climates, it occurs most frequently in children aged 5 to 10 years, and it is relatively uncommon in those under the age of 2 years. Application in medicine. Appendectomy should be done with caution if the appendix is not acutely inflamed. Worms in the veriform appendix could be resident. Pharmacological eradication with antihelminthics and meticulous extraction of released worms are important to avoid chronic complications. Saxena et al. Report 3 cases in which pinworms were released into the abdominal cavity during laparoscopic appendectomy. It is important that surgeons should exercise maximum caution during laparoscopic appendectomy, especially when the envelope is in use, to avoid the release of pinworms into the peritoneum upon amputation of the appendix, thereby affecting the patient. Pros and cons. Advantage. Ultrasound offers advantage in the diagnosis of appendicitis, while demonstrating that it is of low utility in patients with a high clinical probability of appendicitis, which should receive surgical evaluation immediately and avoid delay of treatment to reduce the complication rate. Disadvantage. In colder climates, some factors such as less exposure to sunlight, heavy clothing, and fever bats lead to higher prevalence of enterovirus vermicularis, and it inhabits the large intestine but be low pathogenicity.
I'm Nano Hasugan, Biology and Medicine videos. Please make sure to subscribe, join the forum group for the latest videos. Please visit Facebook and Hasugan. Please like, and here you can also ask questions, answer questions, and post some interesting things, including your artworks. You can also change the quality settings to the highest one for better graphics. In this video, we'll talk about pinworms, the thing you get most likely when you're a child, or most people. Pinworms are caused by the worm called Enterobius vermicularis. About tens of thousands of Australians, particularly, are thought to carry this worm asymptomatically. This worm essentially comes from an egg. So here we have an egg. This is the infective form. Inside the egg contains larva. The egg itself is about 50 to 60 micrometers by 25 micrometers in width. It's a seed-like colorless shape and is transparent. When the egg or the larva becomes a worm, the worm can be either female or male. A female worm makes more eggs. A male worm is a lot shorter than the female and helps the female in mating to produce more eggs. So let's see how Enterobius vermicularis causes an infection, causes pinworms in a human body. It's important to know that pinworms, Enterobius vermicularis, is thought to only target humans as hosts for reproduction. So here I'm drawing a human with the gastrointestinal tract because Enterobius vermicularis causes pinworms in humans starting from the digestive system. I'm also drawing a bum here because this is where the female worm will implant its eggs onto, causing a itch-like symptom on this human. So now let's begin and see how a pinworm infection is caused. The first thing that could happen is that contaminated food, water, with vermicularis eggs can be ingested by this human. A small number of eggs may also become airborne and inhaled. Because these eggs are so small, they can be inhaled and they can itself cause a pinworm infection. So these eggs are inhaled or ingested into this human, and the eggs goes down through the gastrointestinal tract to the small intestine. So following ingestion of the infective eggs, the larva will hatch in the small intestines. The larva will become either a male worm or a female worm. A male worm is about 5 millimeters long, female worm is about 10 millimeters long. So here you can see the infective eggs in the small intestines hatching. The larva will become worms. It can become a male worm or a female worm as shown here. Now the adult male and adult female can migrate to the colon, the large intestines, and then mate. The male dies after mating, and the adult female begins moving to the rectum area about 1 month later. So here the worms migrate to the colon, they can mate, the female survives. Now the gravid female will migrate nocturnally outside the anus and ovipost, which basically means lay eggs.
Issue applied in Ecuador. The WHO defines women of childbearing or reproductive age as those between 15 and 49 years. According to statistics in Ecuador, this age group is between 12 and 50 years. That is relevant in this. The issue is that until November 2010, 7,305,816 women live in reproductive age that corresponds to 28.8% of the Ecuadorian population, portion that has changed significantly since 1990.
The appendix is the little one-ended tube that's attached to the cecum of the large intestine. Sometimes it's called the vermiform appendix, where vermiform means worm-shaped, so that should paint a pretty clear picture of what it looks like. And this odd, kind of cute little worm-like structure's function is actually unknown, though some theories suggest that it might be a safe house for gut flora, and some evidence seems to suggest that it plays a part in the lymphatic and immune system. Other, arguably more cynical viewpoints think that it's just a useless vestigial organ from our ancestors. Whatever the case may be, the fact remains that it's pretty talented at getting inflamed and causing abdominal pain, a condition known as appendicitis. As much as 10% of the population develops appendicitis at some point, and it's the most common surgical emergency of the abdomen. Since the appendix is a hollow tube, the most common cause of inflammation is something getting stuck in or obstructing that tube, like a fecalith, which is a hardened lump of fecal matter that finds its way into the lumen of the appendix and wedges itself there. It can also be other things though, like seeds that weren't digested or even pinworm infections, which are intestinal parasites. Another cause of the obstruction, especially in children and adolescents, is lymphoid follicle growth, also known as lymphoid hyperplasia. Lymphoid follicles are dense collections of lymphocytes that get to their maximum size in the appendix during adolescence. Sometimes this growth, though, can literally obstruct the tube. Also, when exposed to viral infections like adenovirus, measles, or even immunizations, the immune system ramps up and these follicles can grow as well. Whatever the cause of the obstruction is, now the appendix is plugged up, right?
Conclusion. In conclusion, enterovirus vermicularis is a possible cause of appendicitis in children. Patients not undergoing appendectomy can benefit from fecal sampling of nighttime application of cellophane tape in the perianal area as a means of detecting the parasite as well as empirical anthelmintic therapy. Appendectomy treats the consequence and not the root cause. Family members and persons with close contact should also be treated once the diagnosis of enterovirus infestation has been confirmed.